What's up, y'all? Austin Lewis here, aka lesstraining, reporting to you from 5th Statesboro in Statesboro, Georgia. Today I'll be sharing with you my strategies when it comes to cutting and shedding a few pounds. So, the big difference with this video versus the videos you've probably seen on my Instagram is that this is a little bit more informational. There will be some cutscenes where I demonstrate some exercises that go along with my cutting strategy, but other than that, it's mainly me talking. Might as well just throw that out there before we jump into it. So we have 3 talking points as far as my strategy is concerned. We have consistency, training styles, and of course diet. As you can see, diet is probably the biggest portion that we have to talk about throughout this process. It is about 75% diet, 25% training. With that being said, let's first jump into consistency. So, before we get into consistency, let's first talk some numbers. On the back end of December, first week of January, I weighed in at 208. Yesterday, which was the last day of March, I weighed in at 192. How did I attain these numbers? Consistency. Now, the biggest complaint I get from clients or people searching exercise advice is, Austin, I just don't have the time. How do I get it done? The truth of the matter is that you just gotta get it done. There's no way around it. It is a matter of you taking yourself to the gym, or you getting out to the park, or even at home and just doing it and getting it done. I'm not saying that anyone else's time matters less than mine, but my work day starts around 5 o'clock every morning and ends roughly around 8 p.m. In between those times, I have short 30 minutes to hour 30 breaks. You just gotta find time. Whether your workout is 30 minutes in length or hour 30 in length, you have to be active in order for this to work. First up in consistency is exercise. Now, here are some numbers for exercise. You should be aiming to work out 3 to 4 times a week, 45 minutes to hour in length. In between those time frames, you should be aiming 20 to 30 minutes of intense exercise. We'll go into more details when we get into training styles. Next up is eating. You should be aiming to eat 3 to 4 times a day, moderate snacking throughout the day. Be mindful of your sugars and your portion sizes. Once again, we'll get into more details on eating when we get to the diet portion. First up though, let's talk about training styles. So, with training styles, we have 3 different kinds: hidden circuit, compound exercises, and Olympic lifts. Within these 3 different styles, I will educate you on the pros and cons that come with doing these 3 different styles of training. Whether you are more prone to injury, if this elevates your heart rate, if you will gain or lose strength from doing this, etc., etc. With that being said, first up, we have hidden circuit. For those who don't know, HIIT stands for high intensity interval training. HIIT is a form of circuit training, so I typically use these words interchangeably. With that being said, some will say HIIT is HIIT, circuit is circuit, but at the end of the day, it's whatever. So with HIIT training, you are basically trying to get a bang for your buck. You're trying to accomplish as much as you can within a short amount of time. Usually I do my HIIT work at the end of my workouts. Usually my HIIT training is full body in nature. As you'll see here, right now I'm doing strict shoulder press, followed up by some squats. Then I will go into chin-ups and then lunges. Usually circuits are timed, so I am doing 25 seconds of work and then 10 seconds of rest / transition to get me ready for the next set. I do not recommend HIIT training for those looking to gain size or build strength. This is more of a cardio style of lifting, more heart inducing, blah blah blah. So if you're trying to build size and strength, not really up your alley, but you can work on power. I do a lot of box jumps and explosive movements in my HIIT training. It's just a matter of you moving this fast and trying to lift a lot of weight isn't recommended. You could potentially hurt yourself. So finish up these last few reps and then we'll talk about the compound lifts. Next up, we have the compound lifts. I have them broken up into two categories, simple and complex. First up, we see a traditional dumbbell lunge. The protagonist muscle in this exercise is the quad. The antagonist is the hamstring. Next up will be the traditional dip. The protagonist muscle in this exercise is the tricep, and this exercise actually has two antagonists, which will be your trap and your upper chest. Compound simple exercises are good for muscle building and strength development. Next up, we have the compound complex, which are the exercises I tend to lean towards. These exercises usually elevate your heart rate and use full body motions. The first one was the thruster / squat to press. This one I call Liberty Lunge or the lunge to press. Usually recommend these for a little bit more advanced fitness goers. But these are very, very good exercises for, a full body burn and good to throw into some HIIT work as well. Last up, we have the Olympic lifts or Olympic variations. What I mean by Olympic variations are the bits and pieces that make up a complete Olympic lift. So first up, you'll see me do a hang clean instead of a power clean, which is a way to work on your power clean. Other exercises that are Olympic include deadlifts and snatches. So an exercise I favor instead of the traditional snatch is the overhead squat. These are exercises that you can strengthen, but since they encompass so many muscle groups, you can't necessarily just work on one muscle at a time. But very big fan of the Olympic lifts. So last up is diet. First off, I want to address the fact that I'm not a dietitian or nutritionist by any means. These are just some diet tips and strategies that go well with my training style. First up with diet is caloric intake. Caloric intake is really dependent on your energy levels. Are you a sedentary 60-year-old female or are you an active 20-year-old male? It really just depends. Me, myself, I fall under active young adult male. Typically with young adult males, you're in between 2,100 to 2,500 calories a day. That's just a rough guess. I don't eat that much. I am on the low end of that, and even lower. I average around 1,850 calories a day. And now how do I obtain 1,850 while eating 3 to 4 meals a day? Portion sizes. Just for kind of a visualization, I eat about a fist and a half on chicken breast, 2 fists on rice, and then about a fistful of broccoli. Now, like I said at the beginning, I will not withhold any information from you on this diet strategy. I have been susceptible to light headaches, nothing like major that would knock me out the rest of the day, but if I miss a meal, I will get a little headache, or push a meal back, I'll get a headache. Also, with this diet strategy, you can experience some fluctuation of weight. So let's say if you eat a big lunch or a big dinner, then you can come to find that you probably gain 4 to 5 pounds. I remember one day I ate a big lunch. That day, early in the day, I weighed in at 193. The next morning, I weighed in at 198. To some, this may cause some concerns, but me, myself, I've been dieting like this for 3 to 4 years now. I just know for a fact that that weight is just fluff and that I'll burn it off as soon as I hit my workout later that day. Next up is macros. I based my whole eating strategy off fat, carbs, and proteins. That being said, my fats are very limited. I probably only eat maybe 20, anywhere to 20 to 40 grams of fat. Is not a lot. I get a lot of my grams and a lot of my calories from carbs actually. I eat a lot of rice, a lot of pasta. But the thing is that you need these macros like fats, carbs, proteins to get you ready for your next workout. Sugars. It's pretty straightforward with my diet. Natural sugars versus artificial sugars. Fruits versus candy bars. That's the way I look at it, just to make it simple. We as people, we need glucose in order to survive. That's another way we produce energy. So once again, you can't live without it, you know. So completely cutting out sugar, you have bigger drawbacks than actually monitoring how much sugar you eat. That goes to my last point, moderation and cheat days. You do not need to cut out everything out of your diet. You do not need to cut out fats. You do not need to cut out sugars, artificials. You do not need to cut out cokes. But it's all about moderation and limiting how much you consume these things. Me, myself, I don't drink Coke at all. But I know for a fact that I like juice. And I need juice because I need sugar because I don't even take in caffeine. Sugar is my boost. So, you know, it's just all about moderation, setting up cheat days. I know when I was working on a bi-weekly pay period, my cheat days was every 2 weeks. You know, so when I got paid that Friday, I'll pony up for a nice little pizza. The biggest pros and cons with dieting in general is that every diet, fad diet, or strategy a person may come up with may not work with you. That is the truth of it. That is a pro and a con in itself. Once you find your diet strategy, then you're set for the rest of life. I know I've been banking on this diet format for about 3 to 4 years now. Because when I would go home to see my mother, she was of course in charge of what I ate. Unless I ate out or treated myself, but if my mother was cooking for me, I'm gonna eat what my mom cooked for me. And so then when I would come back to school or back to Statesboro after being on break, I would notice that I picked up 7-8 pounds. Once I figured out the strategy for me, I've been doing it ever since, and it's worked every time. Once again, this has been working for me for the past 3 to 4 years. You yourself, you may come across a strategy that works just fine for you, but then you might try someone else's diet and it doesn't work for you. It's just about finding what works for you, man. I am sharing this information with you because, like I said, this has been working for me for 3 to 4 years, and on top of that, it's all natural, so no supplementation was consumed during this diet, no detox tea or anything of that nature. So if you have any more questions about my diet strategy, training in general, please don't hesitate to hit me up on the links below. But other than that, stay groovy and less training, more results.